Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Delgado's Tech Collab podcast. I am your host, Blair Dotton Haley. Listen, how was everybody's summer? I am so excited to be back. I had a great summer. I got to enjoy some sun. I got to enjoy some good family and some good fun. And we are now back. School is back in session. And I could not think of a more appropriate, more profound, and more interesting guest to have to kick off the beginning of the 2023-24 school year. That just made me think about how long ago it's been since I've been in school. But I'm excited to welcome to the Delgado Tech Collab podcast, the extraordinary Superintendent of NOLA Public Schools, Dr. Avis Williams. Thank you so much, Dr. Williams, for joining us today.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
Listen, given that it is the first few weeks of school, and I know how extraordinarily busy your schedule is, I can't tell you how grateful we are for you spending a moment with us to learn some more about you, learn some more about what you have planned for the scholars of NOLA Public Schools. So because I know how busy your schedule is, we are going to jump right in. You know, you have made history as the first Black woman superintendent in the history of the Orleans Parish School District. That is extraordinary, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I want to learn more about who you are before we all learned about you as making history in this role. So take us back and talk to us about who Dr. Williams is and how you got involved in education.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, thank you for having me. Super excited to always share. And this is such an exciting time of year. My favorite times of year are graduation and the start of the school year. As far as my past, I'm originally from Salisbury, North Carolina. And a lot of people know I joined the Army right out of high school. And one story that I sometimes tell is that I was a smart scholar. You know, I made excellent grades, top of my class, and no adult ever talked to me about going to college. I was winning scholarships, and being first generation 4-year college student, I didn't know what to do with scholarships. So I did follow my older brother and sister's footsteps and joined the Army. Of course, no regrets. I'm proud veteran of the U.S. Army. And while I was in the military, I grappled with taking some classes, knowing that in my heart, I always wanted to be a teacher. And so once I got out of the Army, I did go ahead and pursue my degree in education. A little bit between that, I worked at a law firm for a bit. My ex-husband and I owned a gym and personal training center, and I went through community college. As I consider myself to be what most people consider a traditional public school educator in terms of the degrees that I have, but my pathway was anything but traditional because I've never had that traditional college experience because I joined the Army first. But I was certified to teach English and physical education. And my first teaching job, I taught English in the morning and PE in the afternoon. And it wasn't long before I realized that I really wanted to expand my reach and my influence. And I saw the difference that could be made from a leadership standpoint. So I did pursue my educational leadership credentials. My first principalship was actually at a Title I, a very high poverty elementary school. And one of the things I leaned into was making sure my scholars had the technology that they needed to be able to thrive. And this is in the early 2000s, where we were still talking about the 21st century like it was new, because it was fairly new. Right. That you were thinking about 21st century skills and all of that. And so my scholars and I were doing wikis and podcasts before they were popular. This is way back in the early 2000s. Yeah. And so I've always known as an educator that making sure our scholars have those skills that they need to get those high skill, high wage, high demand jobs is a must. And this is regardless of whether their pathway is the military like mine, community college, 4-year college, or straight into the workforce. My second principalship, because the elementary school was small and it ended up closing and combining with another elementary school, but I had the unique opportunity of opening a brand new technology middle school. And this was phenomenal. And it was a magnet school. And we had the best and most cutting edge technology. And while I was there, I was actually given a state award for my technology innovation and leadership, which was really cool. And that was only possible because I had amazing teachers who were bold and courageous enough to try new things and to be creative as it relates to technology. But long story short, did a few other leadership roles, was in Selma for 5 years before coming here, and continued to make sure I infused STEM and STEAM concepts into what we did in terms of teaching and learning, transformed a middle school from a traditional middle school to a STEAM academy. And made sure that every elementary school in our school district had a robotics team, and then partnerships with colleges and universities just to make sure that we had access to the latest and greatest technology. So I'm always excited to be able to talk about my pathway here, but I love talking about how we get to provide this great learning and resources to our scholars so that they're ready to delve into these the jobs and the college and career readiness of the future.
Yes, and I would love to use your core values as a segue to talk about the work that you are doing now with NOLA PS. Talk to us about your core values of excellence, equity, and joy.
Absolutely. And, the equity piece is one of the things that I just consider a foundation for the work that I do in education, because I'm a firm believer that our scholars have to get a high quality education in order to change outcomes for themselves and their families. And, so when I was in Selma, one of the things that I used to always talk about is what would they do in Hoover? And Hoover is a very high socioeconomic level community within the state of Alabama. And I always said, if it's good enough for the scholars there, it's good enough for my babies here. What do we need to do to get there? And just making sure that we remove barriers and provided access to them, and did it with a level of excellence. Excellence just simply means that we find a way or make a way in terms of doing our very best, being consistent and staying the course to ensure that we get to joyful outcomes. And joy, where equity is the foundation, joy is the favorite. And I just believe that we get to do this amazing work. We get to pour into our scholars, who are, we talk about them being our future. They're also our now, and we get to really embrace them and ensure that they have what they need to be prepared for greatness and to change our world. And I know we've got some amazing scholars who get to do that. And it's about celebrating our wins along the way, even as we know we've got a lot of work to do. Let's look for those wins that we can celebrate along the way, and let's show our teachers, leaders, staff, and families how much we value them. And that's what joy is about as it relates to the work that I love doing.
And I have to ask, I don't think we can have a conversation about the work that is to be done without talking about and naming some of the challenges that you face. What would you say are some of the greatest challenges that you face that folks who are a part of the community may not be aware of or may not readily recognize? What are some of the greatest challenges that you face as superintendent?
No, that's a great question. And, I think most of the challenges that we've been addressing since I've been here, I've talked a lot about, and, a lot of it lands in a space to where being an urban city, we've got poverty, we've got violence, we've got insufficient housing for a lot of our families. And we've got mental health issues that have gone unaddressed. And I've spent a great bit of time really digging deeper into some of the statistics around the convergence of crime and mental health in particular, and really looking at what supports and resources can we provide. And to be clear, we're educators. So our goal is to make sure that we're providing a high quality education. And I know for sure that our scholars are not going to be the best learners if they are not being taught through a whole child approach. In other words, making sure that they're healthy physically and mentally as well. And the same for our teachers, leaders, and staff, and the same for our families. And so I've really leaned into how can we ensure that we're doing the best that we can from a holistic standpoint in terms of improving overall quality of life. And so NOLA PS Cares is the big umbrella under which all of this falls. And CARES is our community access to resources and equity. We really focus on literacy, workforce development, mental health and wellness, and social justice. And those 4 areas, I believe, really contribute to quality of life as it relates to our young people, our families, teachers, leaders, and staff, and everybody in between.
Oh, listen, you said a mouthful, especially in terms of really understanding some of the systemic challenges that the city is facing that impacts the lives of scholars inside and outside of school, but also impacts the type of education and quality of education that schools are able to provide. Yeah. There's so many layers and prongs to the problem that it just means that there are going to be multiple layers and prongs to the solution. And I love your shouting out of NOLA PS Cares. Talk to us about some of the other work and plans that you have and are addressing around. I know there's a big campaign around attendance. I know mental health and wellness, gun violence. So talk to us about some of the other things that the community can anticipate in terms of the support and access to resources for the scholars of NOLA PS.
Yeah, absolutely. And so one thing that we're doing this fall is launching a reimagined strategic plan. So everything that I'm talking about falls within one of the 4 commitments within our strategic plan. The first commitment is effective and connected communication. So making sure that we're transparent and people know how to reach us. So if you're needing those resources, you know how to communicate with us, and that we've got robust communication structures in place for that. Next, we have high quality schools. At the end of the day, we've got to make sure our babies are prepared to be successful beyond high school. And we do that through making sure that our teachers are supported with the resources that they need, whether we're talking about from a professional learning standpoint or their own mental health. And so looking forward to launching the Joyful Educator Collaborative to support our teachers. And the community will definitely be hearing more about that. Our first convening of that will be the last Tuesday in September, and excited to partner with Junior Achievement and have our event there. And even more excited that Larry Nance Jr. with the Pelicans is sponsoring our convenings this year. And we welcome anyone else in the community who loves teachers as much as I do to help us to make sure our teachers know how much they are valued. Our third commitment in the strategic plan is wellness and mental health. And this is for the entire community. And many pieces of the NOLA PS Cares, of course, falls under that, including our mental minute that we launched recently at Bricolage, and looking forward to launching it and continuing to launch it at other schools and within our entire community. And then finally, our operational infrastructure and excellence along those lines. What are we doing in terms of our facilities and finance and human resources and so forth? So all of that is part of our strategic plan, and the community can definitely look to hear more about that. that. And one piece that's directly related to the work that we'll do to support our scholars is the portrait of a graduate. And we'll have what Dr. Fulmore, our deputy superintendent, is calling pep rallies, where we're promoting it and we're educating people on that portrait of a graduate so that they understand the commitment that we're making to ensure that our scholars are prepared to be successful beyond high school, and that we have a clear understanding of what that means pre-K through 12.
Well, Dr. Williams, it sounds like you both not only have your hands full with the work ahead, but it sounds like exciting and substantive and meaningful, and listen, the word that matters the most, impactful work for the scholars, the families, the community. So I am grateful to personally have the opportunity to be involved in this work through NOLA PS Cares. So I want to thank you for the opportunity here while we have this moment publicly to say thank you for allowing us the opportunity to do this work. And we wish you the best as you and your team and the entire New Orleans community continues to rebuild, regenerate after experiencing so many traumatic experiences beyond the control of the city, the pandemic and Katrina and Ida and all of the things that we know are continual parts of the daily experience of folks in the city. Where two more questions and we're gonna let you go, maybe three, but these will be short. So if folks who are watching this and they want to either get more information, get involved, learn more, say their parent is watching, they say, I don't know anything, I haven't heard anything about any of this. Where can they reach out? Where can they reach out?
Yeah, and I always encourage people checking our website and our social medias at NOLA Public Schools. Is one way to just get real-time information. And you can email us at communications@nolapublicschools.com if you've got a question, or if you're not sure who to reach out to about a question, or you want to partner with us or want more information of anything that I talked about, then communications@nolapublicschools.com is the website. But again, for updates, we have a thriving social media platform. We're on Facebook, Twitter, which I guess is now X, and Instagram, and definitely love feedback. And so you can reach out to us through either of those platforms or shoot us an email.
Perfect. And similarly, for folks who want to get involved and support the work that you are doing, is that the same outreach?
It's the same outreach. That communications email address, communications@nolapublicschools.com, will go straight to our comms team. And we have some amazing team members there who do everything from our social media to governmental affairs and community partnerships. So just shoot us an email and we will be happy to plug you in.
I have to ask you one question before we go. The summer and festival season have ended in New Orleans, but what is your favorite memory of New Orleans summer, spring 2023?
Wow, that's a great question. So, this is my first Mardi Gras. As many times as I've been to New Orleans before I moved here, I'd never experienced Mardi Gras before. And so I would say one of the things I enjoyed most was marching in the parades with our scholars.
I love that.
That was so fun, and just seeing their pride and their families. And, we had several schools that had almost as many parents who were right there marching with us as there were band members. So that was exciting. And I'm just so grateful to the community for the support. We had a campaign prior to Mardi Gras to make sure that we kept our scholars safe as they participated in the number of parades. And so I would say that was absolutely a highlight. Attended some of the galas as well, so enjoyed some of the balls, but being able to hang out with our scholars was definitely a treat. And then also I attended all of our graduations. I missed one graduation because it was double booked with another school. And so so I was able to attend all but one graduation. And so I was able to shake hands with thousands of our graduating scholars, and to be able to see the sense of pride on their faces and their families' faces, and to learn the interesting and great things that many of them had in store after high school was also a highlight for me for this year.
Well, thank you so much for that. Listen, I'm excited for you to not only have had one year, one cycle of the seasons in your new role, but excited to see and support this work as you move forward, supporting and leading the charge in NOLA Public Schools to support the work of supporting our families and scholars in excellence, in equity, and in joy. Thank you for, there takes a certain level of commitment and dedication and sacrifice to do this kind of work wherever you are in the world. And so thank you for that, for your commitment to education and to our scholars. My grandmother is famous for saying, without an education, we are an obsolete people. And so thank you so much for your commitment to education, both prior to coming to NOLA Public Schools, but now at the helm as superintendent. Dearest family out in the Delgado Tech Collab family, I'm grateful to see you all today. Thank you, Dr. Williams. If you are interested in learning about the programs that Delgado's workforce development team has to offer, make sure you go to the website www.dcc.edu and learn about all of the programs that workforce development and IT department have to help young people and to help continuing education for folks who are not right out of high school, who are interested in getting licenses and certificates and furthering their knowledge and education. Thank you again, Dr. Williams, for taking such important time out of your schedule to sit with me today to talk to our community and family about the work that you are doing for the scholars of NOLA PS. And y'all, we will be back, as you know, you can count on it, with another extraordinary guest to talk about the work that they are doing in the community. I'm looking forward to an exciting year and season of this podcast. Thank you, Dr. Williams, for being my first guest of the season. And everybody else, have a great day, have a great week, and we will see you all very, very soon.